I'm not too much of a fan of this female reader. I preferred the male reader in the book that I'm actually going to review. But the original book has a female reader. I'm not a huge fan of how she reads, but that happens sometimes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is. I hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday. It is my last week of training. We graduate on Thursday, I think it is. So it's a very exciting week. We're actually going to... Well, I'm so sorry. Apparently you had an itch. Yeah? You good? We're actually going to be on the phones this week, which is exciting. And we graduate on Thursday. The only downside to this week is on Friday, we have to do an entire day of online learning video things. Ghosters, why are we walking so slow? Can we pick up the pace just a little bit? So, this week I will be waking up 15 minutes earlier than usual to get myself prepared for next week, because I'm pretty sure next week I start my 8 to 5 schedule instead of 8:30 to 5. I think he's looking. I think that's what's going on here. Because usually he just keeps going. Can we walk? Come on. Ghosters. So, I am up a little earlier this morning, getting prepared. You guys know I like routine, so yeah, that's what we're doing today. I don't know what Ghost is doing right now, but I am excited. It's going to be a good day. I got my coffee, but we're actually not talking about work too much today. We are actually going to be doing a book review. So if you like book reviews, you should stick around, because I know this is kind of an oldie, but it's a goodie. And it's been 10 years, at least 10 years since I've read the series, but this time I'm listening to it through audiobook. And I'm taking things away from it that I didn't take away from it before. I'm not too much of a fan of this female reader. I preferred the male reader in the book that I'm actually going to review. But the original book has a female reader. I'm not a huge fan of how she reads, but that happens sometimes. So, let's get into the book that we're reviewing today. So, the book that we are talking about is Midnight Sun. If you don't know what book that is, it is a sequel to the Twilight Saga. I know that was from like 15, maybe 20 years ago. But yes, I was one of those girls that got sucked into the Twilight Saga, and it is one of my favorite series. I do enjoy her work, but I had never read Edward's accounts of the Twilight book, and I was actually very curious. So I ended up finding it on Audible, and I listened to it and finished it in less than a week. Granted, it's a 25-hour book on Audible, which is longer than Twilight. Twilight is, I don't know if I said the author, Stephanie Meyer. If you guys didn't know that, I mean, The Twilight Saga, you look it up, you know who it's by. There's movies. Just Google it. But the Twilight Saga is very much fantasy romance kind of thing, which is kind of my thing when it comes to books. I do like adventure fantasies as well. I do like those. Those are a little bit more intriguing sometimes. Ghosters, you are walking extremely slow and you're driving me insane. Can we walk, please? He's extremely sniffy this morning, which I don't understand because we went out for a walk last night. And usually when we're on top of our walks, he only has to do his checks. He doesn't have to do the actual, once over everything. That's why. So anyways, like I was saying, he usually isn't extra sniffy when we keep up on our walks. He just kind of has to sniff and go. If we miss a couple walks, then that's when he has to analyze the entire neighborhood. But anyways, let's get back to the book review. So I ended up listening to Midnight Sun. It's a 25-hour book. I got it done in less than a week. I was hooked. It was a male reader who portrayed Edward very well in my mind. I very much liked his voice, which kept me engaged. The female reader in Twilight, I don't really care for, but we'll get to that in a second. But I enjoyed the fact that I got to see Edward's point of view on the Twilight book. You saw a lot more made sense. You found out where Edward went when he went on his excursions, when he ran away in the beginning, where he went, what he did, what he was thinking, his whole thought process on Bella and the whole situation, kind of how he saw how things were going. Some of it was a little annoying. I'm sorry. I know he isn't even 100 years old, but in the book, he's only been, pretty sure in the book, he's only been a vampire for 80 or 90 years. So he's not even 100 years old. So I understand he hasn't grown into his vampirism. But I'm sorry. Come on. Get over it. I understand his thinking about the whole soul thing, but at the same time, you're walking and you're talking. So that's got to come from somewhere. Wow, my hair's a disaster this morning. Sorry, guys. I swear it's just because it's the moisture in the air. It probably really doesn't look that bad. I just hyper-criticize my hair. It's fine. Anyways. So Midnight Sun was twice as long, which makes sense because there's a lot of stuff that goes on with Edward that we really don't see in Twilight. We literally only see Bella's point of view in Twilight. And, it makes sense. It is a book about her. It is from her point of view. Now, the only thing I wish is I almost wish she made this not just for Twilight. I wish Stephanie Meyer had written a New Moon version. I know it's been a few years, but I'm pretty sure in at least one of the books, she bounces back and forth between perspectives. I think it's been over 10 years since I've read the series. So what I've done is I've read Midnight Sun. I truly enjoy it. I almost prefer Edward's point of view over Bella's. I am now reading. I decided to listen to Twilight as well after I listen to Midnight Sun, because it's only a 12-hour book. Like, I'm already halfway done, and it's been 3 days. So, like, I listen to it on my walks. I listen to it while I'm driving. Like you guys have heard, like I've told you before, I don't listen to too much music on my walks. So, or on my drives, I listen to more podcasts and audiobooks. So, I mean, that's what I've been doing. So it's not going to take me long to get through it, but I'm not really liking Bella's point of view anymore. It could just be the person that's reading the book. Let's be honest. Sometimes the person who's reading the book just ruins the book. So one of the things that annoys me, and it's just an annoyance, is every time the reader says Bella, she emphasizes the L. Bella. No, it's Bella. Like, you don't need to emphasize the L. Bella. Every single time she says the name, it's slightly annoying. Her name is Bella. You don't need to emphasize the L like there's 4 of them. There's 2. So, just little things like that. Where are we going? Right? We were gonna cross. Anyways. So that's just a slight annoyance. I mean, different readers do different things. I understand why they chose a female reader for the book, because it is coming from a female perspective. But I just don't like her in particular. I don't know their names. If I know their names, so I will put on one side of the screen Midnight Sun and his reader, and the other side of the screen I will put the Twilight reader's name, so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So overall, I personally, now that I have read both Twilight and Midnight Sun, I personally enjoyed Midnight Sun better. And I'm only halfway through Twilight for the listening round, but knowing how the story goes and remembering what the book was about when I read it the first time, I like seeing the controversy and the battles that Edward goes through as a character, between trying to run away from the situation and then coming back and facing it, and arguing with his family, and having people in his family support as well as disagree with his decision. And I found it interesting, if you read Midnight Sun and you look into it, you can see, like, he can't hear Bella, but he also has a slight difficulty reading Bella's father's thoughts. Like, he doesn't hear Bella's father's thoughts the way he hears other people's thoughts. Now, I could just be reading too much into this, but if you look into it, like, he can usually hear, like, clear sentences, like, fairly clearly what people are thinking, especially when he's around them for a while and is used to their mind. Come on, ghosters. We got to get moving, honey. Let's go. And then when he listens into Bella's father, Charlie's head, he just kind of gets images and just kind of like slight mumbles, but not actually like coherent thoughts. So I found that interesting in that book. Let me know what you guys think on that situation. Did you see what I saw? I don't know. But overall, I personally enjoyed Midnight Sun more. I liked Bella's story. I do like seeing her side of it. But I don't know. There's just something about it. I enjoy Edward's point of view better. It might just be how my brain works. I might just like the complexity of Edward's story more. I mean, it's a longer book. There is more to it. The Twilight story is half the time. Come on, let's go. Pick it up. I don't know. They are both really good books, but personally, I enjoyed Midnight Sun better. Let me know if you guys have read the series and you've read Midnight Sun. Let me know what you think. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you go and check it out, because personally, I think it's quite a really good book. Come on, Ghost. Oh, we're getting the end of the walk zoomies now. So that is my review. That was probably a horrible review. It's early. I'm drinking my coffee, but I wanted to record something this morning. I think I got my point across pretty well. If you have any questions about my review, feel free to throw them down in the comments. I will gladly answer any questions you have. And let me know what you guys are reading. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you in that next video.